Welcome to Four Girls in a Digital World.
Today, we'll be discussing rape culture in digital society.
Rape culture. What actually is it? How is rape culture of the 21st century being dictated by the deep dark web? Incels, cybermobs, misplaced attempts at activism, and the relationship between online and offline misogyny all contribute to the one-day definition of rape culture. But what can we, as internet users and abusers, do to change it? Are we forever doomed to spiral deeper into a culture that worships the abuse of human interaction? Let's break it down. First up, we have Hanna. So recently we've seen many women coming forward. What are some ways in which we've seen this happening?
So the acts of violence and abuse against women online that we are seeing are simply an extension of these acts offline. These online abuses can range from threats of violence, privacy violations, or sexist and misogynistic comments. So in order to address such disgusting behaviour, the use of hashtag activism, which is a form of digital activism, has recently come about. It is the idea of protesting through the use of hashtagged words, phrases, or sentences online, usually through social media, such as Twitter. For example, the hashtag Black Lives Movement and the hashtag MeToo movement are all examples of hashtag activism. The use of hashtags is to draw attention to these social and political causes in hopes of inciting change. So in terms of online misogyny, hashtag activism has also been known as feminist hashtags, to call attention to the misogynistic behaviour that women suffer from, which ultimately arises from the culture that rewards men's aggressive behaviour towards them. In October of 2017, we saw women from all over the world use the social media platforms and comment the words hashtag MeToo to expose the violence, abuse and harassment they were facing offline. The use of such activism works to give victims of online and offline misogyny a voice and a platform to speak their truth and expose perpetrators of such behaviours, and to ultimately hold them accountable.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Joanna. So Joanna, why do you believe rape is a crisis in the modern world?
Firstly, men rape women not only as an impulse to satisfy their sexual desires, but as an organized and permitted operation designed to keep women in fear, which can place the men spread the rape information online to let women feel shame. It is to degrade and control women. Men carry out rape, which also causes the concern and the protection of women's rights. Feminism also responds to rape culture online. Secondly, rape is not necessarily accompanied by real violence. Some happens by destroying the mind of women with putting the rape scenes online. Photos of sexual assault will be taken in case of rape, and photos of sexual violence will spread repeatedly in the Digit network, causing bad efforts. New online media has praised the way sexual violence is experienced. People laugh at women online, which is harmful to women's body and mind. This is also a kind of cyberbullying in rape culture.
Yeah, so it's interesting to note that rape culture is not only physical acts of violence against women, it's emotional and mental as well.
Yeah, definitely. So Grace, as our online misogyny expert, why don't you tell us a bit about the term incels?
So incel is a term used to describe an internet subculture that expresses anger and hatred towards women who do not reciprocate their romantic feelings. This community contributes massively to online misogyny, as the internet gives the thoughts of these men a public platform that otherwise just would not have existed.
Do you reckon the thoughts of these online women-hating communities ever equate to physical acts of violence?
Sadly, yes they do. These communities are not restricted to expressions of hatred online. For example, in 2014, 6 people were killed and 20 injured at the hands of Elliot Rodger. Before his shooting, this man uploaded multiple videos detailing his plans, and you can still watch these on YouTube. His manifesto, My Twisted World, also aims to justify his intentions to, and I quote, slaughter every single blonde stuck-up slut I see. There needs to be a greater focus on what constitutes cybercrime. Bills like the non-consensual sharing of intimate images shows governments attempting to outline online misogyny as being a serious problem, and offenders could face up to 5 years jail time with $105,000 fines. But there are no documented cases where offenders were actually prosecuted. So how many cases of hatred will it take before real action is taken?
So finally we have Tanisha. Tanisha, what do you think about cybermobs in relation to rape culture?
We can say that online harassment is damaging because it's permanent, cheap, and also very fast. It is also because of the nature of internet. Cybermobs often come together in a big community when they share the same ideas, views, for example, online gaming. Cybermobs add up to the culture of rape when they start harassing women over the internet. For example, in online gaming, certain members abhor the entrance of women in the world of gaming. Such hatred leads the attackers to make hateful and vulgar comments because of the anonymity of their identity. There was this article by New York Times where they said that internet itself is partly to blame, solely because of its speed, low cost, and scope. However, this can be controlled if web platforms commit to create safe online environments, and laws are created which not only help the victims of cyber hate, but also reflect the seriousness of this problem.
Thank you, Tanisha.
Thank you, Hannah. I think we can conclude that rape culture is definitely increasing and the digital world is playing a huge role in it.
So that wraps up this week's With 4 Girls in a Digital World, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.